a different stance on life. To be one that is an evolutionist, a creationist, a mathematician, an astronomer, an atheist even, whatever you believe in, whatever you are, and you do that and other people didn't, you're going to fight for it. Something that people don't necessarily talk about because we are in a sexualized world based on relationships and breeding. What is it like to truly be single, solid, successful, and confident with the fact that that is a calling? I'm not saying it has to be a calling for anyone forever if that's what they don't want. Because even nuns become an unnun, and certain religious groups have their pastors become abstinent. Everything is done for a reason in life. But one thing that has been so uncool is foregoing what we have learned love to be. What happens if you didn't love yourself? What happens if you just respected yourself? What happens if you didn't love the newest stuff? You just had it or didn't have it. What if you didn't ever have a romantic relationship again? Would you cry inside to feel like, oh my gosh? Or would it be something that you feel like, hey, I could actually be just myself. I wouldn't have to worry about anyone yammering in my ear. I wouldn't have to worry about having to take care of anyone. I wouldn't have to worry about anything ever again. When it comes to sharing the most valuable asset you have, and that's your human expression. What happens if it was okay to be a solo person in a relational world? And you actually felt confident and happy and fully satisfied, fully at peace with the fact that you're alone and you love being alone. How many of you can think about grandmothers or aunties or somebody asking for grandchildren, or when are you getting engaged, or when are you become serious? When was that the way that we became serious? When was that the way we became responsible? That is a primitive way to become responsible, is to get married and have children. Because it is only being done by your physical need and push to provide and survive. To be in a relationship, to become stable, to be in a relationship, to be considered of a certain class, is a primitive way of thinking. It means the person lacks mastery in certain elements and certain places of their life because they need to depend on that person's energy to push them. It means that that person is dependent on others, which in essence makes them weak to the other that they have. Now, am I coming against relationships? Not whatsoever. This is not for you. If you are somebody who is so deeply infatuated with the desire and need to have someone beside you who will be encouraging you all the time and being there for you. No, this is for people who are fully satisfied with being their own powerhouse. And then when there is a requirement to have a chef, that you pick one that is the best at their job, not one that you want to make a good conversation with. You pick someone who is going to sell you the correct vehicle, not the one that they think you should have or will give you an emotional no. You give them the qualifications and you get what you need. You have real, true people who are living their lives and you're supporting them and they're supporting you, and there's no emotions. There's no need for attachment. There's no need for relationship. There's no need for smiling in each other's face so that you don't feel intimidated by one another. There's no requirement for small talk. There's no need to network. It's, are you the best at what you do? Good. Check mark. Why is it that relationships are what drive people to do the worst and best things? And it's because that is how our spiritual systems have been outlined and uplifted. It is how the gods before myself have manipulated people into giving them so much that they didn't even know was needed or required. And then the people who didn't want to give to them had to become completely numb to those things, and it became a toxic thing to even say that you didn't want a relationship. You were the weird one out. So, isn't there a beautiful opportunity to actually be fully happy, joyful, solid, secure in your own presence, in your own success? And to actually, truly, deeply be okay around others, but you're just happier on your own. And I know there are men that are out there that are like this, because when you've gone through certain things, you just don't want it anymore. You're okay without it. You've mastered certain parts of yourself and you're like, you know what? I just don't want that type of life where you have to share the most beautiful thing you have, and that's your human life, with someone else that is going to inject their personality into you, and you're just not interested. And I'm not going to run around and wave a flag, single people be proud, because I think that's the stupidest, ridiculous thing in the whole world. Who needs to run up and down streets and say what they do with their body? Who needs to walk up and down and tell people what they should believe and knock on your door and say you should join us? I understand that people's root chakra is programming their survival mentalities to try and make a stance. But wouldn't our whole world be so much more beautiful if each and every individual just was good with themselves? Fully, 100% good. No need for arguments, no need for interactions with other people on an emotional level. It was just simply, you go out for a walk with someone and you enjoy it, and you go home to each other's homes, and you go here and you go there, and you enjoy these connections with good intention. And that is it. What happens if being in places and you were the only person at a table, and that was normal? It was normal for you as an individual to go out as a single person. And you don't need to have a ring on your finger and pretend like you're with someone. Or you don't have to have someone at home that you never see. But they're there so that when society says, do you have someone? You're like, yeah, they're at home. But you're never there. You don't care about them. Why would you continue to do these things? Why would you continue to give someone the absolute least so that you can be single and just do you, when you could just be proud to say, I'm single. I'm not interested in touching anyone. I'm not interested in doing anything outside of a simple conversation of, are you capable of the job you're positioning for? And then just maintaining that. Why is this weird thing we call ourselves social creatures? We're not actually social creatures. We've engineered ourselves to be social creatures for the ease of survival. We have really done ourselves a disservice to be dependent on other people, because it means anything we do when we are in these social circles, you know, one person lifts the wheelbarrow, the other one fills the wheelbarrow, then the next one walks the wheelbarrow over to the thing, and the other person squishes the stuff, and then the other person dries it, and the other person bags it, and the other person sells it, and all of these people have to take a piece of it, and some people feel like they're worth more than others. This is why machines are going to be one of the best things that happens to our civilization. Because there are so many of us that don't want the complications of dealing with all the personalities of all the people that have not self-actualized themselves. If you're not the expert of the expert at what you do, then you're insecure, and I'm going to have to manage your behaviors, and you're going to come off your own track if I don't put a carrot in front of your face. And I literally am not doing it. I'm not going to manipulate you so that you can stay sweeping the sidewalk outside. I'm not going to manipulate you, and I'm not going to tolerate ill behaviors either. So machines will become an easier aspect for many of us who really cannot fathom dealing with people that do not have the ability to stay on track. I don't care what your education level is. If I'm asking you to drive from point A to point B, and you have to stop at point A5 and roll down the window and talk to someone, I'm not interested. If you have to drive me from point A to point B, and you continuously make me feel like I have to work with your schedule because you're a gender that you believe is superior to me, there's an internal working within the human soul that has become so relational that everywhere we go, the male believes that because he's meant to protect, he's also meant to dominate. That is not the way that it works. The skin does not dominate the heart, but the heart the skin. And if you feel like your skin is dominating your emotions, then you're quite upside down, because your skin is literally there to keep in your heart and keep in your organs and all of these things. And yes, it is extremely important, but it's just one part of you. It's not more important than the other. And when I say the heart, I mean the heart and the soul connection. The soul is what drives even this being to be here and get up in the day. If you have no drive to get out of bed and do your work, why do you even have skin? If you've ever been highly, deeply, profoundly, extremely depressed, in ways that you cannot even have any emotion towards, then you don't even think about the skin you're in. You think about the emotions that are flooding your existence. So the deep stuff is always more important than the outside stuff. Is it still important? Yeah. Relations are still important, but they do not overtake who you are. To be specifically single should be the aim of every individual. Be single. Be proud that you are a single human being. You have 2 feet and 2 hands and 2 eyes, and you have a whole body with a whole bunch of different systems and all of the stuff. And even if you're, maybe missing some little one piece because you had to have a surgery, you're able to compensate and make do. Other people are important, and when we respect them, it's this beautiful rendition of life. But when you're in relationships with people and you need to have a romantic partner and you should get married, and there's the pressure, nowadays it's not necessarily even pressure to be married. It's just the pressure to not be so lonely, I guess. I don't know what goes in on our heads when it comes to this desire for something. Is it our toxic habits that we've created over the last centuries in order to populate the earth? But what was really the purpose of needing romance? And I'm not even talking about romance in the sense of Valentine's romance. I'm talking about romance in the sense of I'm looking in your eyes and you're looking in my eyes, and it's oh my God, I have to have this. You understand me? But you don't. Nobody needs it. You don't need to consume people to live. You need to consume food. And yes, different industries will be able to help and assist you. But this is where industrialization was actually a benefit for all of socialization and economy, because you didn't have to be best friends with your farmer in order to buy food or trade food for him. You could have money, you could go to the supermarket, you could buy food. You don't need to make friends. You just need to get the stuff. But we have recently come out of this because industrialization wasn't that long ago. And so we're still used to requiring social partners. If you desire to procreate and that's your vibe, then be on it. But why are you doing it? Are you doing it for a status symbol? Then your children are going to hate you. I promise you that. They're going to hate you, and then they're going to have to get over the fact that they hate you. And you may never talk to them again, and then it'll be a minus status symbol because your children never talk to you. And oh my, oh me, I wonder why they went. And what, oh poor me, and all this and all that. So don't have children for status, because they will grow a mind of their own, no matter how disgusting you are of a soul, to possibly wrap them around your finger. Be single. Be proud. If you don't want children, it's totally okay. There's a lot of people out there that are having them. The world's not going anywhere. Nobody needs to procreate. Nobody needs a romantic relationship. People are self-sufficient. Our brains are all good. Even the person that can barely do grade 5 math can still earn money. Nobody needs anybody else. It is only the lazy people that need someone else because they refuse to learn how to do this, and they're staying far away from that because it's a faux pas. Have you ever thought that superstitions were made so that you would keep certain people around or keep certain people away from you? And maybe the person who created the superstition is really the one winning. There's deeper meanings to everything that we have. And for you to be passionately, powerfully excited about being single, and not single and proud, waving, your hair back and forth, Willow, whip my hair back and forth. or you're a person who's like pronouncing it to the world, you've married yourself, or you're this. Why do you need to be married? Why do you need to be in a commitment? What's wrong with doing life for you? That's not selfish, that's self-full. Selfish is most romantic relationships. That's people that are being like self-ish and then kind of them. Self-ish and then kind of them. And it's this manipulation pull. Self-full people are fulfilled. They're whole, they're complete. They don't need you, you don't need them. So just move on. It's the most beautiful and freeing feeling to actually be like you. Just you. No need, no social programming, no doomsday down the line in 20 years when you don't have a romantic partner at your bedside. No more sitting around waiting for Prince Charming to, bump into you with a cup of coffee and then, oh my gosh, what kind of ridiculous things are these? These ideas that we get in our mind, we've put there because we have this internal programmed desire within our soul that we need something from that to survive. And that is why, actually, a lot of women cannot be trusted in high money relationships, high value relationships, mostly, not all the time. Okay, I'm just going to get it started with you. Because a lot of them are so programmed that they just need that to be good. Even if they're well-tempered, well-mannered, they come from a good family. There's no way that that woman can actually love you for you because she's programmed even by her own soul. And I know this because I've had to go through these programs and bust them down. And the fear that is associated with staring those programs of, I will die today if I do not have a man by my side. It's literally this thing that we just keep putting on hold, like a holding pattern. And we just go, oh, well, we'll get it. No, to actually deal with it and say, I'm totally good with being alone. There is this entire world of domination programs that men have that all hit you. And they all put you in situations of where you're going to need a man, of why a man is better to have to do this, that, the other thing, and how you'll never gain any type of thing. In order to have a truly respectable woman, she has to overcome those programs. And a lot of quote-unquote independent women are not even overcoming them. They've put male domination on cancel, not on I've healed it and I don't subscribe to it. Most people are still subscribed, but they keep pressing the thumbs down button instead of I'm subscribed and I love this channel, or just unsubscribing. But that's what healing does. It unsubscribes you to the thought pattern. And to truly, authentically be totally 100% cool with the fact that you are going to be single for the rest of your life and plan your life that way is intimidating. And I know this because I intimidate people when they come to me and go, oh, so when is this going to happen? Oh, so the next, you need to be the next love in my... No. I don't need to love anyone. I don't need to do anything for anyone. If you provide a great service for me, I pay you according to the service that you have given to me and I find value in. Different places, different values. Being comfortable, being single, is something most of humanity is literally not good with. The thought of being alone is terrifying. I just made a video on that in a paid element on my website. So you should probably get in on that membership because it's really, really profound about the depths of the stuff that goes on when you walk into being infinitely alone. It's really healing too, but my healing is like just the way I'm talking to you right now. It invokes thoughts, memories, feelings for you to just think about and go yes or no, or I should think about that some more. That's my version of healing, not the weird, whatever you think is weird or whatever you find uncomfortable. Because I personally, as someone who is naturally a healer and I do meditations, I have found them weird. I have found them uncomfortable. I find a lot more healing in logically walking through different processes and understanding why this is, why that is. Very stoic, calculative, very mathematical. I find more healing in mathematical reasoning and understanding than I do in the other stuff. Now, the other stuff, quantums, emotions, walking through certain things, pressures, all of this stuff, that creates very valuable things. It's not healing, that's creating. That's a different aspect of self. But healing in itself can be very simple. Sometimes it's just speaking it out. Sometimes it's sitting down and having a conversation with someone. Sometimes it's looking out at the ocean or a lake or a pond. Just watching the water move. That's it. That is highly productive to your system. Because thinking takes a lot of space. It's important to take space. The wealthiest of things and people take space. Just like when you go into a Louis Vuitton store, you see 1-2 bags on a wall. An entire wall for 2 bags. Okay, it takes space. So the more space you take in between the thoughts and in between the work and in between the stuff gives you the more refined value. Because you see yourself. You see in amongst all the blank, the profoundness of thought itself. To truly be grateful to be single, proud to be single, not waiting on somebody else, not incurring things so that one day you'll have someone, so that one day I'll be able to show them this. No, just here, now, single, possibly single for the rest of your life. Design it that way. It's a beautiful thing. Even if you've reached a certain age and you feel like you want someone, why? Finally learn to be yourself, with yourself. You only have so much years of life left. Why bother spending and investing in someone else so deeply? Why not invest in just being human? The pleasure of deeply quantifying yourself is this thing when you explore within inside of yourself. It is far more fascinating than reacting and working with another person in a relationship. Truly a beautiful experience to deeply, profoundly understand yourself and recreate aspects of yourself and see why your whole life has been your life because of this and that. And it's a gorgeous experience. It's a profound, it's an opulent experience. To spend everything on yourself, phew. You see everything in such profound beauty and absolute decay. It's so incredible.